How's it going, everybody? So we're going to start a new little video format. I'm actually shooting on my laptop camera as opposed to my phone camera. The picture quality might not be the same. It might be a little grainier. But with this, I am allowed some more time. I'm not limited to the constraints of my phone's data and all that other sort of thing. And plus, it allows me a little more freedom here to move around and gesticulate and emphasize things in a more natural way. Okay, so that's why things might look a little different. If you guys have a preference, if you like the other version shooting on my phone when I'm seated, or maybe it doesn't matter, it probably doesn't, that's fine. So let's get into the matters at hand. So for this week, we have our first literary analysis assignment, okay? 2 to 3 pages, MLA format, same deal as we did all of our 1101 essays, okay? Our subject for our analysis is the short story by Flannery O'Connor, A Good Man is Hard to Find. One of the most commonly anthologized short stories in any literature class in the country, okay? Flannery O'Connor, born in Georgia, a Catholic writer, not somebody who has her Catholicism sort of thrown at you. It's not necessarily always explicit. It's sort of done in a subtle undertone sort of a way. And she is also a Southern Gothic writer, sort of in the vein of William Faulkner in that sense. She is, her characters are oftentimes absurd or grotesque or monstrous in some way, or comic in some way. A lot of having to do with racial relations. Of course, Flannery O'Connor, well, maybe not of course, maybe you don't know, is a writer writing in the sort of the middle of the 20th century. Faulkner is writing a little before that and into that time as well. So this is a story about a family who encounters a couple of thieves, robbers, ne'er-do-wells, one of whom is named the Misfit, okay? And the Misfit does something that you might find rather shocking and cruel at the end of the story. Okay, I won't spoil it for you if you haven't read it. But as you're reading this story, keep your ear pruned or open is probably the better word. Be attentive to Christian themes or Catholic themes going through this text, because your assignment is the critical perspective number 10 in portable literature. That is on page 309, okay? Now, this is my physical copy. You all, hopefully by now, some people are having issues accessing the e-text. Mr. Churchwell sent everybody their access code through your Gordon County School address. So make sure that's the one you're checking, not your GNTC email, your Gordon County School email address. The access code for you all to be able to access the e-text should be there. Okay, so a little aside there, let's make sure we all have access to the e-text. Okay, the links are there. I can see everything fine on my end, so I want to make sure that everybody is figuratively and literally on the same page when it comes to that e-text. Okay, so make sure you can. If you're having problems, let us know. We'll try to resolve it. Back to what you need to do for the end of this week. Number 10. Now, I've given you a little snippet of this in a ditto, in a Word document attached in the week 3 folder. You'll see literary analysis, and there'll be a little document attachment. I've written out basically the meat of this prompt that you all need to answer, which reads, in this story, who are the religious pretenders? Okay, who are the people who might claim to be people of faith, but who are maybe either hypocritical in that sense or are not practicing their faith, their Christian Catholic faith, fully and truthfully. Who are the pretenders in that regard? And who has true faith? What is the price of achieving a moment of religious grace, according to what happens in the story? What role does violence play in this equation? Okay. Now, there's a little pre-roll, if you will, before that essential part of the critical perspective. It reads, in his 2002 essay, Light and Shadow, Religious Grace in Two Stories by Flannery O'Connor, David Allen Cook writes, the literary works of Flannery O'Connor often contend that religious belief can only be consummated by direct confrontation with evil. And for those uncommitted and unprepared, tragedy seems inevitable. For O'Connor's religious pretenders, a moment of religious grace, a revelation of truth, often does not come, but often does come, but at a devastating price. In A Good Man is Hard to Find, we are presented with main characters that experience a deep epiphany after being spiritually challenged by the darker side of human nature. Okay, so that is according to an essay by David Allen Cook, a critic on the story, 2002 essay there. So that is what I don't include in the Ditto version, the works in the Word document in your Blackboard. Okay. So I have the link there in week 3. I have the chapter 11 style, tone, and language chapter in which the story A Good Man is Hard to Find is situated. Okay. I also have the chapter 2 link in there too, which is writing literary arguments to help you all format, structure things in that vein. Okay, so it does behoove you. In fact, you should read chapter 2 for the specs on how to approach a piece of literature for writing an analytical, argumentative essay. Okay, so that is all that we are doing this week in terms of what you must do. Okay, now in terms of what you voluntarily can do but should do. Okay. The first blog. Okay, so last week you had discussion questions and a journal. This week is our first blog, and the blog asks you all to think back from the previous week. The stories we had there were Neil Gaiman's How to Talk to Girls at Parties and William Faulkner's A Rose for Emily. And just like we did in 1101, it is a place for you to offer your comments, your opinions. Okay, now all the while the best you can to remain as error-free in terms of grammar and punctuation, being civil, mature, not being too slang or colloquial, but it is a place for you to just offer your opinions on the story. Did you like it? Did you not like it? Why? Okay. I do encourage you all to do that, okay, because it really does make a difference for your final essay. Speaking of final essays, if you want to get some bonus points, there should be about 3 blogs this term, just like last term. But if you want to get some bonus points on that final essay for 1102, which is going to be due around the first week of May or so, okay, it is on William Shakespeare's Hamlet. Biggie, the biggie, okay? Hamlet is widely regarded as the piece of Western literature. Okay, you really can't overstate it. A lot of Hamlet, the character, you might recognize something about yourself in Hamlet. The modern condition of the modern person is in Hamlet. Okay, I'm not going to spoil it for you and tell you what that is. I want you all to read the play. Okay. If you want a companion No Fear Shakespeare along with what you're reading in the text, that's fine. But when it comes time to citing from the play, your research, all that stuff, it should be the actual style and diction of the Shakespeare play. Okay. Um, a lot of our language, a lot of our vernacular, yes, even in the 21st century, originates from Shakespeare, okay, and his plays. So I do hope that you might not appreciate it. You might sound out of date. Well, we're talking about 400 or so years ago. I understand that. But you all inherit the culture that Shakespeare helped to set. Okay. So you need to know where you come from. You need to know where your intellectual history comes from. Okay. So please read it, take it seriously, but also have some fun with it. There's a lot of fun with Shakespeare. Shakespeare is the three P's I like to say: a poet, a playwright, a philosopher, the four P's, I guess, and a psychologist, all wrapped up into one. Okay. So that should just be going on in the background. You guys should be reading Hamlet. Read it an act at a time. Look at a movie, a film, a televised version. I'm sure you could find versions on YouTube. I will actually work on picking one, suggesting certain ones to you all for that to kind of help you, because plays should be watched. They are meant to be performed. Okay, so it might help you to actually look at a version of the play. Okay, so let's just reiterate the big bullet points for this week. First and foremost, I probably should have started the video with this. Does everybody have access to the e-text of portable literature? If you don't, if you're having trouble, you need to reach out to me or Mr. Churchwell, and we'll try to resolve it for you. You are all given access codes in your Gordon County school email address. Please check it. Also for this week, we have our first literary analysis essay on A Good Man is Hard to Find by Flannery O'Connor, Critical Perspective number 10, which I believe is on page 309. Okay. Also, our first blog opportunity, asking you all to comment on the stories we read last week, is available for you. It's voluntary, but you're encouraged to participate. Okay. And then you should be reading Hamlet. I'm going to have an essay prompt, like the actual thing I want you all to answer. There are a few in the book that come after the play. I've read them. I'm not sure if I particularly am super excited about any of them in particular. There are parts of some of them that I like, so I'm going to work to crystallize a coherent prompt for you all to answer in the coming week or so. So stay tuned for that. All right, everybody, I think that'll do it. Again, hope you guys are doing well, staying safe and healthy, but not going too stir crazy. And I'm here to help in the degree that I can. Just reach out to me, and I will talk to you all next week. Ta-ta.